Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel. Today, we're diving deep into a story that feels as ancient as the mountains themselves. A tale of two brothers, of strength and greed, and of discovering what true worth really means. This is the story of iron and gold. In a village nestled high in a remote mountain range, a place so isolated it was known simply as the Village of Metals, two brothers were born under the shadow of a rare and breathtaking eclipse. The elder brother was named Iron. He was sturdy, dependable, and from a young age showed a quiet strength. He wasn't one for flashy words or grand gestures. His worth was found in his steady hands and his unwavering, humble spirit. His younger brother, however, was named Gold. From the moment he was born, Gold seemed to capture the light. His features were beautiful, his laughter was like music, and he possessed a natural charisma that drew everyone to him. The villagers adored him for his dazzling shine, often forgetting the quiet, hard-working Iron in the glow of his brother's presence. As the boys grew into men, their paths diverged, following the very nature of their names. Iron, drawn to the fire and the forge, became a blacksmith. He found his purpose in the rhythmic clang of his hammer against hot metal. His days were filled with sweat and soot, but his heart was full. He didn't forge swords for conquerors or crowns for kings. Instead, he crafted plowshares for the farmers, nails for the carpenters, and cooking pots for the families in the village. He made the tools that built their lives, that put food on their tables. He asked for little in return, often accepting a simple thank you or a loaf of fresh bread as payment. His work was the backbone of the community, essential yet often overlooked, much like himself. Gold, on the other hand, despised the grime and labor of the village. He believed his beauty was a currency, a key that would unlock a life of luxury and admiration far beyond their humble mountain home. He sought fame, he chased wealth, and he yearned for the adoration of the world. Why build when you can simply own? He would often say, scoffing at his brother's calloused hands. Gold spent his days charming traveling merchants, seeking patrons in nearby towns, and dreaming of a palace where he would be the centerpiece, admired for his brilliant existence. The bond between the brothers, once as strong as any metal, began to weaken. A subtle rust of resentment grew in Iron's heart, while a deep, cold greed began to creep into Gold's, poisoning the love he once had for his family and home. One fateful afternoon, driven by his insatiable desire for riches, Gold ventured deep into the forbidden parts of the mountain, a place where the elders warned that the earth held dark secrets. In the heart of a hidden cavern, his eyes fell upon a sight that made his heart stop. There, on a stone pedestal, stood an idol. It was carved from solid, gleaming gold, its eyes made of fiery rubies that seemed to watch him, to know the deepest desires of his soul. As he drew closer, a whisper, smooth and seductive as flowing honey, echoed in the cavern, though not from any visible source. It seemed to come from the idol itself. It promised him endless riches, mountains of treasure that would make him a king. It promised him the fame and power he craved, but it demanded one thing in return: his absolute loyalty. And as a first offering, a first sacrifice, it demanded he forsake the one thing that still tied him to his old life: his brother. Blinded by obsession, Gold's heart turned to stone. The whispers of the idol were far more compelling than the quiet, steady love of his brother. He returned to the village not as a son, but as a conqueror. He used a fraction of the idol's magic to conjure a small treasure, which he used to hire mercenaries and drive his own people, his own family, from their homes. He betrayed Iron, casting him out with the others, claiming the entire mountain and its cursed treasure for himself. He sat upon a newly forged throne of gold, the idol by his side, believing he had finally achieved everything he ever wanted. But the idol's promises were poison. Soon after Gold's betrayal, a dark blight fell upon the land. The vibrant green fields that surrounded the village of metals began to wither, the crops turning to black dust. The crystal-clear rivers that flowed from the mountain's peaks turned sluggish and dark, thick with a foul-smelling sludge. The sky, once a brilliant blue, became a permanent canvas of bruised, stormy clouds that unleashed relentless, punishing rains. The land was dying, and the people, exiled and starving, were losing hope. Gold, alone in his cold, silent palace of riches, found that his treasure brought him no warmth, no comfort, only a gnawing emptiness as he watched the world outside his window rot away. The idol's whispers had faded, leaving only a chilling, mocking silence. Watching his people suffer, Iron's heart was filled not with resentment for his brother, but with a fierce, protective determination. He knew he had to act. He knew the source of the curse was the golden idol his brother had embraced, with his blacksmith hammer the only possession he had left held firmly in his hand. Iron began the perilous journey back up the mountain, into the heart of the curse. He faced down illusions of darkness that preyed on his deepest fears. He walked through corridors of magical fire that licked at his skin, and he was met with whispers of temptation, promises of power far greater than Gold's, if only he would bow down. But Iron's heart was pure. His resolve, forged in the fires of honest labor and love for his community, was unbreakable. He finally reached the cavern, where he found his brother, Gold, huddled on the floor, a broken man weeping amidst his useless treasure. The golden idol loomed over him, its ruby eyes glowing with malevolent power. It turned its hateful gaze on Iron, but he did not flinch. He saw it not as a god, but as a parasite, a beautiful lie that fed on greed. With a mighty roar that was both a challenge and a prayer, Iron raised his simple, worn-out hammer. He swung it with all the strength of his body and all the conviction of his spirit. The hammer struck the idol, and with a sound like 1,000 shattering mirrors, the golden figure exploded into a shower of glittering dust. The moment it was destroyed, the dark magic broke. As Iron stumbled out of the cavern, the first rays of true sunlight in months broke through the clouds, bathing the mountain in a warm, healing light. His hands were burned, his body was covered in scars, but his spirit was whole. The villagers, watching from below, saw the light return and knew he had succeeded. When he descended, they didn't see his wounds. They saw a hero. They finally understood the truth they had overlooked for so long. Gold may shine brighter, it may capture the eye and promise the world, but it is fragile and corrupting. Iron, humble and strong, is what endures. It is what builds homes, grows food, and protects families. Gold, his face streaked with tears of shame and regret, fell to his knees before his older brother and begged for forgiveness. In that moment, he finally learned the true value of humility, honesty, and the enduring strength of brotherly love. And so, the villagers rebuilt their homes, not with a desire for dazzling beauty, but with an appreciation for sturdy, reliable strength. The story of Iron and Gold became a legend, a lesson passed down through generations, a reminder that true strength and real value lie not in outward appearance, not in wealth or in fame, but in resilience, in integrity, and in the unwavering love we show for one another. Gold may dazzle the eye, but it is iron that builds the world. Thank you so much for joining us for this story today. We hope it gave you something to think about. If you enjoyed it, please hit that like button. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next video. We love having you as part of our community. Until next time, stay thoughtful.